We know this is the time of the end, and Yah is calling people together, and we are just one of the tools and the instrument that Yah is using to awaken up people to who they are. So welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I thought you was a very humble man in the respect that we read the book and we found out where you live, and we right here in England. And my wife rang up and said, would you mind coming down? And you goes, yes. And I said, wow, this is absolutely amazing that, a man of your intelligence and things that you've written in this book was able to humble yourself and come here today. And I'm sure Yah is going to bless you. But as we go in today, I'd just like to, welcome you to our show.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to ask a few questions on people's mind. And, one question is, could you tell us about your family and your background and even your religious background?
Yes. As you mentioned, I'm African. I'm from West Africa, of the people known as the Ewe. Some people call us Ewe.
Okay.
But that's because the sound in our name is not in English.
Okay.
So the name is written with a W, and so people call us Ewe, but our proper name is Ewe. I'm one of 5 children. I'm the second to last. My father was the head of family of my family, which is the royal family of the Ewe people.
So you're royalty?
Yes, I am. Wow. Right. I grew up as a Christian, and that was based on my mother's upbringing because she was a Catholic. And because of that, she brought up all her children as Catholic. So I was baptized and confirmed as a Catholic. But at the age of 12, where I had already been baptized and confirmed, I used to ask questions on the Bible.
As many of us did as well.
Yes, and there was no answers, so I started my search.
Right.
And my search took me to quite a few religious organizations. And I think I'm someone who is still on a quest to gain more knowledge. And what I have learned so far is what I'm sharing with my people.
Excellent.
Who I believe are across in the Caribbean, in Black America, and in Africa as well.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful. So I want to ask you a question. When did you come to the knowledge that you were a Hebrew? I mean, you're going to put me right to the actual words of it, which... Right.
Then coming to the knowledge of being a Hebrew was something I suspected from the onset because of the name of the main god of my people, our tribe. In our tribe, the name of God is called Yahweh. Now, through my Christian knowledge, I came to discover that God is called Yahweh. I mean, that is something that Christianity has been searching for many years, because they've used titles like God, Jehovah, and everything, because they didn't know what the name of God was. But my people have always known the name of their God, which they associate with thunder and lightning. Just as in the Bible, that name is Yahweh. So when I got to know of the name Yahweh, earlier I mentioned that we don't use W. We use the word in our language, we use W.
That would be coming from the tetragram, isn't it? Whereas as we read the Bible, there's a symbol which is recognized to be, we call it Yah.
Yes.
But and some people say Yahweh, but you know the proper name, for the symbol.
Is Ve. The sound is not in English.
Right.
So it's represented by the letter W. So if you substitute Yahweh into our language, you have Yahweh. So we already know the name of God to be Yahweh. So it was uncanny that when the Bible scholars have now discovered the name of God, it's exactly as what we have, which our ancestors had handed down to us over the generations. So through that, I wanted to learn a bit more. And But the more I learned, the more I found out that our traditions is exactly as that of the ancient Israelites.
Right.
And what was even more shocking was the history we have. Our history is the history of this, the same story as Moses' story of the Exodus.
Right.
Our people have a history where they were slaves. They went to a land where the king of the land welcomed them. And then when that king died, the new king that took over enslaved them. This is our history. This is not Bible stuff.
So it's a repeat of what happened in
No,
Egypt.
but this is our history.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the more you learn about our history, then you find everything we do is what is written in the Bible.
Right.
So it's not only that we had the name of God, we have the history as well.
But the name of God had been hidden for such a long time.
Not to us.
Yeah.
Not to us. We always knew that. It's not something we invented.
Right.
We always had it handed down. Like I said, we even associate it with thunder and lightning.
Right.
When you read about the Israelites being on Mount Sinai, you remember they were telling Moses to go to God because they were frightened of the thunder and lightning.
That's right.
So they associated God with thunder and lightning. And when you read about when the Israelites were being threatened by their neighbors, the prophet Samuel called God to send out thunder and lightning, which frightened their enemies off.
Right.
So my people, despite the fact that a huge chunk of them do not know anything about the Bible because they are illiterate, have this as their traditional history. So the more I got to know of my people's history, the more I realized it's the same as the Bible. That's when I realized we were the Hebrews.
Right, okay. Can I just ask a question? Now, if your family knew about God's name, why didn't your father practice it in, like you say, you went to various of, is it on? Yeah. You went to various of churches, like Jehovah's Witness. I was a Jehovah's Witness as well, Catholic. Why didn't he practice, if he knew, why didn't he practice to teach others?
He didn't know. I didn't know.
He didn't even know?
I didn't know either.
Right.
Did you see? I had a suspicion. Let me explain something here. We were not born in the village.
Right, okay.
We were born in cities like Accra. When you go to West Africa, they are just like coming to London. They are very modern cities. So when someone like me has to study my history, I go back to the villages where our people are.
Right,
so it's when I went back and started learning about what they believe and what they do, then I realized that everything they do is what is in the Bible.
So they knew the practice of Yah, but it's like a conspiracy again, isn't it, not to teach the truth? Because remember, in slavery day, we came over and we wasn't allowed to practice Yah. Religion. So we knew in the Caribbeans, because we say Jah, but realising it's Yah. So we always knew that. Even talking to my grandparents, she knew that somehow down the line we wasn't allowed to practice the religion or where we come from. So it has always been there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? It was a conspiracy for our grandparents not to tell us.
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't think my parents or that's the religion they practice.
Right.
They don't cover it up.
Right.
Do you see? This is something they practice. But as other people see that and call it names like juju and things like that.
Right.
You see, if you try to do things that you read in the Bible, like the animal sacrifice and things today, people will call it names like juju and things like that. That's what my people do. But it's just that when you know the Bible, you realize that what they are doing is exactly what is in the Bible. So rather what's happening is that they have practiced their religion as they've always done for the last 3,000 years.
Right.
It's the fact that some of us feel we want to go the white man's way. So what our ancestors do, we shun. And by shunning that, we denied ourselves of knowing our true identity. But I had to go back and start to study what my people did, which was natural to them, and realize that those things that I was looking at is exactly what is in the Old Testament.
Right. So it's a journey, wasn't it? Because for us, it became a journey to find out who we were, and because a lot of people saying that, well, the people of the land are the original people, so we know them are people of they're Caucasian people. So we were just black people. That's why I played the first clip about he's saying that the Egyptians were actually black people. Now, we understand the whole continent that from far was Africa themselves. So the people